Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Beatrice Ajayi. I'm an artist based in Glasgow in Scotland, and here on my YouTube channel I like to share the different things I get up to in my studio and in my creative life. So this video is going to be about my writing. I love to write and I wanted to be able to share with you guys some of that going forward in different videos that I'm going to be setting up to do with writing. So I wanted to start off by saying that since I was a little girl, I have enjoyed storytelling. Narratives have been a thing that's been a really big part of my life. And so I wanted to really dig deep and continue on that path and not keep it separate from what I've been creating here on the channel. Because on the channel, I have been focusing mainly on my painting, my two-dimensional artwork. I will be introducing my clay work and different things going forward. But yeah, today is writing and I wanted to start sharing that with you. So I'm going to jump straight in and say that I've already written one book. And that book is the first of three. It is the first of a trilogy. And I already have that book available on Amazon. So I started off a long time ago with this book, and I've had three iterations of book covers for this book, but the final cover I have is this one here. So I don't know how clearly you can see this with the light reflecting on this, but yeah, this is the book cover I have for it. You can see a bit more on the Amazon link that I'll put below as well. But what is the book about? What am I trying to share with you guys here on the channel? So what I was thinking is I could offer different kind of ways of doing this. I could read a chapter from it and discuss that with you, what my ideas were about that. But maybe going forward, I will figure out that whole strategy of what I want to do. But here I want to introduce, first of all, what sparked the idea, why writing, what is this all about? And I started off by having an idea one day coming from school. We're in a school bus and I looked into the field and I'm trying to think if there was a scarecrow there. I think there were no scarecrows. I think that was what it was. It's like I have always had this impression that farms had scarecrows because if you're planting a crop, there needs to be something to protect the crop. So when I looked over, I didn't see any scarecrow, and something really strange just landed, dropped into my head, which was, oh, the scarecrow's been murdered, which is very extreme for a title. But this started me off on the trilogies of the Scarecrow murders. And the beginning of this story, the first book, is called Origins. I'm going to be reading with us here in the channel, little segments of it and discussing different ideas I had about it and the whole concept possibly and things like that. Just basically ask me questions as well. I am still figuring this out as to how I want to do this. So yeah, I am going to be working through this book. So the book actually has 300 and let's see how many pages. 330, yeah, 337 pages, and the end part has like the author information, and then the beginning part has like the contents in the book, like the pages and everything. This took me a while to make, and it's kind of like me trying to find time, creating these videos, spending this time focusing on a specific project for my different videos, I feel will get me to work in each individual project and move them forward. So I have not been working on this book for a little while. I get ideas and then I'll hop into where I'm writing my script and then I'll add something and I'll come back out. But I really want to finish the other two books. I already have their titles for them. There are characters in there. Sometimes I think about changing names because even some of the names, I'm going to just see it now, I can't pronounce them, but for some reason these names jump into my head. So there you go. It's very interesting kind of an issue to have, but I just feel like sometimes I want to have really unique names and whatever pops into my head, I just go with it unless I think of something different. So the first part of the book um, has my thank you, like who I'm thanking and dedication, I should say. And then I go on after that to the prologue. So I could try reading that. I know that I'm not very good at reading, as in reading out. So my oratory skills might not be that good when it comes to me reading this, but I will try to share that with you. So the first part is the prologue, and this is how it starts. Tennessee, May 31, 1991. It begins. The ambulance siren grew louder as it approached the old, dilapidated farmhouse at neck-breaking speed. In the backdrop, smoke could be seen rising to the grey sky, taunting it in waves of black, just like the soot at a funeral. Caitlin Zunai sat on the swing seat on the veranda, holding the little girl. Their attention drew to the two figures that had exited the large vehicle and hurried towards them. A short, spotty-faced man led the way. "You stay here, dear," Caitlin said, hugging the 7-year-old gently. Wide eyes stared back at her for a few seconds, before a final nod from the tear-faced girl. Caitlin slid herself to the edge of the seat and stood up with her usual difficulty. As she pushed off to the standing position of her full height of 5 foot 6 inches, her back slightly creaking, she still couldn't get used to the changes in her body. Thankfully, it would soon be over. She walked over slowly to the veranda steps, and as she got there, the two men arrived at the top. "Are you Mrs. Zunai?" "Yes, I am. I'm George Rigby, and this is my colleague, Charles Nord." "You called to report an emergency, Mrs. Zunai?" "I did. Please follow me," Caitlin said, but turned too quickly. She was suddenly dizzy and unsteady on her feet, and reached out to balance herself. George caught her arm as she swayed. "Take it easy, Mrs. Zunai. How far along are you?" "The baby is due in 1 month. I've been getting dizzy a lot recently," she said. "Well, have a seat. Just tell us where they are. We can find them ourselves," said George, leading Caitlin back to her swing seat. "Straight down the hall, last on your left," Caitlin said, as she pulled the little wide-eyed girl tightly against her. George turned and signaled his partner, Charles, to follow him. They weren't inside the farmhouse for more than 5 minutes before returning to Caitlin on the veranda. Both faces of the paramedics were grim. Charles walked off the veranda and on towards the ambulance. George came to stop by Caitlin. "My colleague is going to call the police. We couldn't do anything to help. The cops can deal with the situation from here on in. We will still be around till they get here and we get our instructions from them. Would you both like to sit in the ambulance? It's warmer. I could check out the cut on the eyebrow of the little one and offer you both a drink. You look like you may be suffering from shock." Caitlin looked down at the young girl beside her. She wiped the cut with a napkin earlier, thinking it wasn't her blood. She took her hand and stood up. As they followed George to the ambulance, her mind was filled with sorrow. He had finally done it. Her husband had finally killed them. So that was just half of the prologue chapter there, and I thought I should just read that with you. And as I said, it is available on Amazon, and I will put the link below for that as well. But yeah, I want to be able to start sharing some of my writing with you guys and discussing ideas and what narratives and things I want to do with the other subjects. But this was a really interesting one because it's kind of like it's a mystery trilogy, kind of a thriller. But at the same time, I felt, as I usually do with my creativity and on this channel as well, is I can do whatever I want with it. It's my story. I can say whatever I want in it. I can make the characters do whatever. And so that's what I've been playing around with going forward into the other books, is to see where I want to take the story and all the ideas I have going into it. So yeah, the idea I'd come across was to do with me being on the bus, the school bus, and seeing that there was no scarecrow in this field, and thinking that what happened to the scarecrow, why is it missing, and looking into the whole kind of detective work of why there's a missing scarecrow. So I did a lot of research on scarecrows, the origins of scarecrows and the different types of scarecrows, because you get a whole variety of scarecrows, and that is all kind of the information in the backdrop that has impacted like the titles of my books and the discussions and the approach of what is going on in that. So there's a whole interest of twists and turns going on in the book. And yeah, please do go ahead and take a look and see what happens for yourself. And if you get one of the books, please do let me know. And you can also share with me what you think. I am obviously still trying to work out how I go with writing. I'm still learning my voice with this. So, but to have this in my hand is pretty epic. And as I said, this is like my most recent iteration of it. So this is what you will see on the actual let's see if I can get it a bit more because it's quite reflective. I got a glossy cover this time because I had a different cover before, which I illustrated as well, and I didn't like it because I felt it was getting marked. So I've put some of this elements back into this one with the way that I've edited it, and I have made it glossy so that it's wipeable as well. But I really love the book, and I'm looking forward to sharing what goes on in here with you guys, and then also with the other books. But also I'll read the back here, the little blurb, as my son calls it as well. He always reminds me of that. That's why I remember. But I'll read the blurb, and I hope I get it right. But yes, you wouldn't think that I wrote this, but reading out is really hard for me. So, The Scarecrow Murders Trilogy, Book 1. Origins is the first of three epic stories. The stories show a progression of consequence, of astronomical proportions. Detective Mike McGrain is charged with investigating a bunch of murders in his Chicago precinct. Will he deduce who is actuating these murders and why? The killer is a new profile for Mike. He finds it takes everything he has, and from deeper depths yet, to find a strength he never knew he possessed. Injustice has come knocking. Will Mike and his Chicago team have the welly to answer the door? Sit down somewhere comfortable. You won't want to put this book down. Well, I'm hoping you won't. But yeah, I just thought I would share that really quick segment with you guys. But I'll put the description and the links below, and then yeah, and see what you guys think. Let me know, subscribers and all that is everybody new. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my subscribers, and I'll see you guys in the next reading of this book. So yep, so welcome, and if this was your first time, and thank you so much for returning if it's not, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.